Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 9th of... There's a big horn going on outside. Today's the 9th of August, 2019. It's Friday. That means it's our weekly roundup. We're going to cover all the news that happened this week.
I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start, you guys. There's like literally 5 bombshells every day. It's like you get hit by a wave and you get hit by a wave and you get hit by a wave, and we probably could have gone live 20 times a day and not covered all the news. I have no idea how we're going to cover it all tonight. But Biden has had one stellar week. He trips and verbally trips, and he gets his foot stuck in his mouth. And in order to get his one foot stuck out of his mouth, he puts his other foot in there. And then he does it again. And then he does it again. And you just have to, a lot of people are saying, well, please pick him. I want you to.
I think he's the best suited candidate for the Democrat Party to represent them. I really do.
Oh, we went off.
We might have, you might need to plug this in and charge it. Well, we were talking for a while. Maybe it just died, but still.
Maybe it just died.
Give it a second.
So, here's his racist statement.
Now, are you gonna cut it off, or are you gonna let it finish? Like, I would cut it off and then go back, replay it, and then let it finish.
We should challenge these students. We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Well,
did you catch that? That was a Freudian slip. Now, this comes from, I want to get the exact quote. This is going to be great. I hope they pick Biden. I hope they pick Biden, because he's actually a better candidate for us than Hillary Clinton was.
Are just as suited as white kids.
Right, white kids. So poor kids, white kids, poor kids, white kids, white supremacy.
What is the opposite of white kids?
All right, so I'm going to read you this gaffe real quick from 2007, when he wasn't even his vice president, or I don't know if he was the vice president candidate with him or not. I guess he was. He said, I mean, you've got the first sort of mainstream African American. First of all, that's the first mainstream African American, right? Because until 2007, most African Americans were not mainstream; they were fringe.
Right.
You've got the first mainstream African American who is articulate. Oh boy. Bright.
Oh no.
And clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's storybook, man. He literally in one sentence tells you the flip-flop of the Democrat Party. They realized that they could use black people, okay? They saw them as fringe, as dirty, inarticulate, and not smart, and actually ugly. Okay, and so to him, he says, you got this first sort of mainstream African American who's articulate. He's half white, by the way, so I'm sure that helped with Biden. You're half white, so it's okay. These Democrats are the biggest white supremacists,
quote,
biggest racists you have ever
with
met.
These young children at the rally. To point out,
well, we should have this on the card and say who said this.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is a theme. Okay, we got to follow this. We have to follow Biden, because this is in 2007, and then he also came out and said, I worked with KKK people, and I wanted to say that it didn't matter, who they were. I worked with racists. I work with anybody. Okay, he has no problem with racists, and then he was called out on that. He didn't support busing at the time, and Kamala Harris took him to the woodshed on that. But he's still hanging on. Why? Because Democrats are the party
of slavery.
Let's put forward all of our women and all of our black candidates or whatever. But you know what? We really just want the white guy. Okay, so back to Biden's, we're going to play this again.
Play it again, and then we're going to let it finish, because he does try to
make it better.
We should challenge these students. We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it.
So basically what he said is poor kids are black.
Right. If you're not catching on to that.
So we have more.
Thank you, Biden, for that. That was really enjoyable.
So then
hang on though, because I'm still like wistfully hopeful that Biden is going to be there.
Yeah, there is nobody who the independents.
Do you know that Hillary Clinton? They're so desperate that they are kind of dabbling with. Should we put Hillary in? We still have some time. If we put her in, maybe she could come in like some sort of dark horse at the but maybe, and that's what I said early on. I said I think that it's possible that they have put up these ridiculous candidates so that they can come up with somebody at the end that everybody goes, okay, you know what? At least it's not.
Here's the
these
thing:
people.
they wasted their time. They spent 2 long years trying to just impeach Trump.
Right.
Get him out the illegal way.
Exactly.
That they spent no time trying to curate and come up with a candidate that could actually beat him.
Exactly.
They have literally
I didn't touch it.
We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're
Might as well
poor,
listen to it again.
you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
And then though, hang on. In his trying to make up for it, what's the very next thing he says?
wealthy kids.
Wealthy kids. So now all white kids are wealthy kids.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Okay,
Thank you,
so,
Biden. Thank you.
Yeah, if the Democrats spent so much time, and they're still trying, Nadler is putting forth articles of impeachment because they're looking at, they're realizing that even with school shootings and shootings, they're not going to get a candidate that people are going to get behind. Okay?
Well, so here's the funny thing, is that, okay, so you impeach Trump, and then you get Pence?
No, because everybody says that, and then they're like, we have to impeach him too.
Yeah, I know. But Pence would then have to win the election again. Here's a question for you. Can an impeached president run for office again?
That's funny. He'd have to be impeached in both houses. All right.
He's not going to be impeached.
No. So here we have Joe Biden is at the Iowa Fair, and an Iowa college student comes up and asks him a really simple question. How many genders are there? And what's crazy about it is that, Joe Biden is known for touchy-feely. Well, he doesn't like what she says, and he grabs her arm. But here we go. So that's the beginning where you see him grab her arm. So you can't see what she's saying. You can't hear what she's saying, but you can read it. She asks him, how many genders are there? And he responds, there are at least 3. And she says, what are they? And he laughs and says, don't play games with me, kid.
Good job. Thank you, man. By the way, first one.
So he goes in. He's got her right here. By the way, the first one for marriage was me.
My name is Katie. I am born and raised in Iowa, and I am currently a student in Iowa. Today, I showed up at the state fair to ask former Vice President Joe Biden a question about gender. When I asked the question, it took a few seconds for the question to register, and then he responded with 3. I asked a follow-up question. I asked, okay, what are they? Joe Biden looked at me and said, don't mess with me, kid. I started to walk away, and then it doesn't stop there. He grabs my arm and pulls me back to make eye contact with him again, and he yells something about marriage at me.
By the way, first one.
So I walked away, and I was mad, just very, very mad that someone would actually treat me like that.
So first of all, we all know that there are only two genders, and he says at least three, but he can't answer why there are three genders or
but
what there are.
technically the accepted answer is like somewhere in like the 70s, I think, like 60s or 60 or 70, I think. I mean, if you Google how many genders there are, we could just do that as for fun.
So here's the thing, while you're doing that, and as my thing is playing in the background, this is disturbing. A sixth grader is dragged out of class for saying gender-confused boy is a boy. The school district claims this person wasn't punished, young boy wasn't punished, but it dragged him out of class for the day and warned him not to correctly identify the biological sex of a classmate again, not say that a boy is a boy. Liberty Counsel said an Ohio school district backed down after the religious liberty law firm warned that it could not punish a sixth grader for disagreeing with classmates who said a boy with gender dysphoria was actually a girl. According to the narrative by Liberty Counsel in a press release and subsequent fundraising pitch, the school uniformly referred to the gender-confused male, boy A, as a girl and used female pronouns for him. In a redacted letter to the school district, Liberty Counsel said boy A had started publicly identifying as a female this spring. It became heavily discussed at school, particularly by a group of girls in John's classes who quickly started treating boy A as a girl and frequently discussing his transition with him in art class. John is also in that class and considers boy A a friend. He was subjected to conversations about these issues constantly on at least a weekly or semi-weekly basis because the girls and boy A sat directly behind him. On May 13th, the girls claimed that taking girl hormones and eventually getting his male private parts removed would turn boy A into a girl. John, the kid in question here, disagreed as a factual matter and said he's not a girl. Another boy agreed that sex is what you're born with and cannot be changed by hormones and surgery, and a third boy may have said something to the similar effect. Their art teacher overheard the conversation and reported John and the boys to the assistant principal, falsely claiming that they were bullying boy A, and the third boy called him a homosexual. The assistant principal, who was not named, called John to her office the next day and warned him there might be consequences because he called boy A boy and used male pronouns. She pulled him out of his physical education class that afternoon in front of his friends and apparently warned him again that he will be punished if he refuses to refer to boy A as a girl. According to Liberty Counsel, John learned that the other boys received in-school suspension that day for their participation in the conversation and out-of-school suspension the following day. The assistant principal called John's mother that day and said he was only suspended from gym class because though he misgendered boy A, she didn't believe that John was participating in the bullying. Liberty Counsel also told the school district it was not legally allowed to silence students who respectfully disagree with their classmates that castration is a good thing for boy A. It can't force John to encourage boy A in his gender identity because that could play a role in the gender-confused student taking harmful cross-sex hormones and seeking non-medically necessary surgery. Citing the Supreme Court's Tinker ruling, which bans schools from suppressing the peacefully expressed beliefs of students, Liberty Counsel told the school district it was singling out John for participating in conversation during school times when students may talk about otherwise permissible subjects of discussion. It emphasized that John was repeatedly subjected to these conversations in art class, and the teacher apparently allowing the students to affirm boys' A gender identity but not to disagree with it. To punish John is to turn classrooms into enclaves of totalitarianism that censor the commonly held mainstream factual view that sex is biologically determined. Liberty Counsel cited more than 6,500 unique differences at the DNA level between the sexes that do not change based on hormones or surgery. Not only did the school district botch its own anti-harassment policy, but it's violating a students' rights policy that protects the constitutional rights of students to express themselves as appropriate for the school environment. Since informal transgender discussion has already been approved in the classroom, the school district can't censor one view, the letter said. Liberty Counsel threatened to sue if the school district did not expunge John's record for the incident. It must also promise not to punish or coerce students for respectful disagreement with transgender ideology and using sex pronouns correctly. In a response letter, the school district's law firm denied that John had been formally disciplined, saying his temporary removal from class was not recorded. It said the Board of Education does not punish students for respectful disagreement on any topic. It's a little more complicated on the pronoun issue. The Board of Education does not discipline students for using certain pronouns in referring to students or coerce any student to use a particular pronoun. Staff may inform students that a particular student prefers to be referred to as a particular pronoun. However, that would only occur with consent of the student and his or her parents, but no student would be required to use the preferred pronoun. According to Liberty Counsel's release, John's parents were satisfied with the assurances. The unnamed school district is apparently Cincinnati Public Schools.
Oh my gosh.
Right here, baby. Based on the Dateline.
That's crazy.
So right here, baby.
So, Rainey
Cincy Strong
on Facebook says kids shouldn't have anything to do with this anyway. Once they're of age, do what they want. I agree with you there.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Okay. We aren't actually done with Biden. He did another crazy. We're not done with Biden. So Biden, I went to a church, and there's actually, we sing a song here on Resistance Chicks, and we actually say exactly what Biden says here.
Oh yeah.
But Biden isn't a minister.
No kidding.
And so this does not apply to him.
Division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. And so, folks, if you're interested, join me. I could use the help.
So, what's more disturbing? The fact that he says we choose truth over facts, because AOC said the same thing. She said it's more important to be like morally right than factually right. So we're going to listen to it again.
Division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. And so, folks, if you're interested, join me.
What does he mean?
So
Take a stab at the
hang
dark.
on. I think he meant to say we choose truth over lies.
That's not what he said. Or it's
Yep.
called faith.
Right.
So I believe that Joe Biden is correct because his whole soapbox here is, and he calls it the soapbox, is based on faith.
Yeah.
Because none of it's
He's a
based
man
on
of faith. They all are.
But it's a religion
they all are.
that shall not be named because no one knows exactly
Right.
what it is. Now, there's one more where he says, let's see.
Here comes Patriot Gallery. No. Yes. Here she
Doesn't
comes.
Biden mean when it comes to science? He means global warming. Which is science.
Because he did precede that by saying
And
we're
then
talking
when
about
it's
science.
truth over facts.
The fact is that
that
we're
means if somebody says they're a female, then they're a female. That's the
Right,
truth.
right.
Even though they're a male.
That's exactly, Mom. You hit the nail on the head.
right.
We choose truth over facts.
You don't hear me. You have to restate it.
So what she's saying is that if somebody is factually a male or a female, that they choose the truth that they're not.
Their truth.
Their truth.
Their personal truth.
Exactly. I don't know if I.
So, okay, while
shared
you're looking
this
that up,
one
wait a
or
minute.
not. Go
Because
ahead.
let me
There's
do
one
this
more.
before I lose track of it here. We were wondering what the whole deal was as far as... so I Googled how many genders are there. This was the fourth article down. 63 genders, now 81. This author says that they wrote it in 2000 and then updated it because they have now since come up with more genders. So I wanted to scroll down here for you guys to see how they come up with these genders, okay? So, physically, personality, or physical personality and preference. So here you can be a culturally female, and I'm going to guess that makes you female,
But that's-
okay?
Keeps,
But then you can be...
why do they have that twice?
I don't know why they have that twice. But here you can be culturally female, and then culturally male. And then you get, and it goes on, and it's all very culturally non-binary. And it goes on and on and on.
Culture?
And these are the, I don't know, because here's intersex.
What does culturally female mean?
That's a very good question. So there are here's the 81. So
I find it was just going on and on about carbon something another. It's we have to get all carbon, like all carbon out of the world. We're just gonna be all carbon, no carbon.
you know what happens? The plants die.
We all die. We all die with no carbon. We all die. It's kind of like he's like a flippant guy. He's like a really bad wizard with a wand that just goes and everybody just dies.
Well, not only that, but he has no idea what he's talking about, and then he always ends it with, well, never mind. Anyway. That's his favorite
Speaking
thing.
about
Anyway,
people who
Lord,
don't
just wrote
care
that
what
today.
they're doing.
Yep, God wrote it.
God wrote that.
All right, Leah's going to head out. I'm going to sign off. We want you guys to send us your letters to P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. We will read them on air. Thank you, Thomas, for your words earlier about gun control in the United States. So we will be back here on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our European and UK news. That's going to be a really great show. So come back and join us for that. I do hope to do a Bible study soon now that I'm not sick anymore. Praise the Lord for that. Redneck, I hope your birthday is beautiful tomorrow. So I want you guys to have a wonderful rest of your evening. Be safe. We love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. Good night, guys.
I was caught